Don Anderson. I'm the Executive Minister of the Rhode Island State Council of Churches, and I'd just like to add my voice of appreciation to Colonel O'Donnell and Commissioner Perry who are here. This is something we all care about. Thank you so much for taking the time, Commissioner. I also want to say thank you to Reverend James Ward, who is the pastor of this church, and this congregation for allowing us to use this wonderful facility. Adjectives are woefully inadequate to describe the sorrow that emanates from Newtown, Connecticut this morning. Across America, indeed across the world, women and men and boys and girls are stopping to remember the tragic events of 1 year ago today. Shortly after this tragedy, voices rang out, calling for sensible control of gun legislation, control of guns, and legislation that would do that. And many of us thought that finally America had woken up to the realization that we live in an epidemic of gun violence. But within an amazingly short period of time, many of those voices became silent. In the mid-1960s, two rock and roll groups popularized the song entitled "Silence is Golden." Now, as the parent of four, I can tell you, there are times when silence is golden. In fact, when my kids were young, I used to try to get them to play my favorite travel game, who can be quietest the longest. It never worked. But there are times when silence is not the appropriate response. When guns take the lives of over 31,000 Americans in homicides, suicides, and unintentional shootings in a single year, the equivalent of more than 85 deaths in each day, more than 3 deaths in an hour, silence is not golden. When firearms are the third leading cause of injury-related deaths nationwide, silence is not golden. When children in our large cities, on a per capita rate, die of gun violence close to 3 times more than the national average, silence is not golden. When gunmen opened fire on a graduation party in Providence, Rhode Island, and an innocent 12-year-old girl dies, silence is not golden. It is sin. There is a concept in the Hebrew prophets and the Christian Gospels that when an injustice goes unaddressed, or a truth is ignored, the very stones will cry out. I keep this stone on my desk, and I look at it every day as a reminder of the faith imperative to speak out. This morning, we call on all Rhode Islanders to search their souls, to think about the overwhelming losses we experience in America every single hour because of gun violence, and then to speak out. Stop the silence. It's my honor to introduce one of our congressmen, David Cicilline, who is currently serving in his 2nd term in the United States House of Representatives. A native Rhode Islander, Congressman Cicilline attended Brown University before earning his law degree from Georgetown University. After working as a public defender in D.C., he was elected to the Rhode Island House of Representatives, where he earned a reputation as a fierce champion of political reform and gun violence. For more than a decade, Congressman Cicilline has been working for legislation related to gun violence. I'm not going to take the time to read the litany of things that he has worked on, but let's just be very, very clear that we have a congressperson who has historically and consistently called for responsible gun legislation, not only here in Rhode Island, but in the United States.